Leo, let me ask you something real. Has your home been feeling different lately? Not in a dramatic way, but something subtle, something your gut can't quite name but still feels very real? Maybe it's the way a beam of light hit your wall yesterday, or the strange pull you felt to rearrange a room for no clear reason. Maybe you've walked through your own front door recently and felt like you were entering a place that knew something before you did. If that resonates even a little, don't ignore it. Because today, we're diving deep into a message the universe has been gently preparing you to hear, and it starts right where you live. This video isn't about vague predictions or generic inspiration. It's about real energetic movement happening inside the space you call home, and how that strange shift may actually be the first sign of an unexpected financial breakthrough headed your way. Whether it's a dream you can't shake, an object falling without reason, or just an unexplainable sense of something changing, the message is the same. Something is waking up inside your home. And it's connected to money, value, and a new sense of personal security. I don't say that lightly. When the moon and the tower appear together in a Leo reading paired with the Ace of Pentacles being shown, that not only is change imminent, it's purposeful. It's not just about rearranging furniture or fixing the leaky faucet. It's about rearranging your internal landscape so that your outer world, especially your finances, can finally shift into alignment. Now, I've worked with people who felt these nudges before and ignored them. Only to say months later, I wish I had paid attention to that moment. You're not here to ignore signs anymore, Leo. You're here to rise above them and use them. You see, your home isn't just a physical place, it's a mirror of your inner world. And when energy starts stirring in that space, you'd better believe your spirit is being called to listen. You're not losing your mind. You're being summoned. And here's the truth: wealth doesn't always arrive with flashing lights or a lottery ticket. Sometimes, it starts with a whisper, a subtle disruption in the most familiar space. So stay with me. In this video, we're going to uncover what your home is trying to reveal, how it's tied to your finances, and what you can do today to meet this energy with clarity instead of confusion. Because the more aware you are of your energetic environment, the more open you become to receiving everything the universe has quietly been lining up for you. And Leo, I just want to say this before we go any further: thank you. Thank you for being here, for being curious enough to listen, and wise enough to know that there's more to life than what we can explain. Every like, every comment, every share, and every subscription brings you deeper into this soul family we're building here at Eternal Mindfulness. Your support fuels this message, and allows us to keep showing up with guidance that actually means something. Now tell me, Leo, what led you here today? What made you stop scrolling and click? Something deep inside of you recognized this energy, didn't it? If you've already felt shifts happening around you or inside your home, comment below and let me know. It doesn't have to make perfect sense. Just type, "I feel it," or "It's already starting," to claim your energy. Trust me, someone else will read your words and feel less alone in their awakening. And most importantly, stick with me until the end of this video. The insight we're about to uncover might just change the way you look at your home, your intuition, and your relationship with abundance forever. Leo, if you've made it this far, chances are you've already felt something stirring. Maybe it started as a moment you brushed off a strange tension in a room you usually love, or a sudden chill walking through your hallway at night. You might have noticed an object that used to feel comforting now carries a heaviness. Or maybe, and this is the most telling sign, you walked into your home and didn't quite feel like yourself. It's subtle, but real. And it matters. For someone born under the sign of Leo, ruled by the sun, driven by purpose, and wired for radiance, your home isn't just a place to sleep or store your belongings. It's a reflection of your inner domain. The throne room of your energy. That's why when something shifts in that space, no matter how quietly, it often signals that something deeper inside you is also shifting. And Leo, you're not just picking up on vibes. You're sensing a dialogue between your soul and the space it's been living in. Energetically speaking, what's happening right now is a result of activations between your fourth house, the house of home, roots, and emotional security, and your second house, which governs your values and personal stability. The current solar aspects, especially involving Uranus, brings sudden revelations. Unexpected awakenings. Not always dramatic, but undeniable. It's like your environment is pulling back the curtain and saying, look. See what you've been ignoring. And this isn't about cleaning your house or buying a new couch. It's about noticing how the energy of your environment reflects your emotional truth. How the corners of your home might still echo old fears. How the color on your wall still holds onto the version of you from 5 years ago. How the light falls differently because you are now seeing from a different layer of being. That discomfort you've been feeling? That's not the problem. It's the invitation. Because Leo, your space isn't static. It remembers. It holds the energy of conversations, the weight of silence, the hope in your voice when you whispered dreams aloud that you were afraid to say anywhere else. And now it's reflecting something back to you, a part of you that wants to evolve. A part that's outgrown the shell it once called safe. I once knew a Leo woman who told me that after her father passed, she couldn't sit in the living room anymore. Nothing had changed physically. But the energy was heavy. Every cushion, every photo frame, felt like it was echoing a grief she hadn't processed. Instead of avoiding it, she lit a single candle each night for a week and sat with the silence. On the 7th night, she said she felt something release, like the room exhaled. That space eventually became her creative studio. It didn't happen because she painted the walls. It happened because she listened. And in listening, she gave herself permission to change, and so the energy changed with her. What you're feeling, Leo, is not confusion. It's awareness. It's your energy catching up to the truth you've been holding inside, that it's time for a new foundation. That your environment must grow with you, not out of vanity, but out of necessity. You deserve to feel at peace in your own space. Safe. Energized. Inspired. And yes, wealthy in the ways that matter most. So start small. Observe. Take a notebook and write down what areas of your home make you feel alive, and which ones seem to drain you. Don't judge it. Just document. For the next 72 hours, tune in with your full presence. Let your environment speak to you, not through words, but through feeling. The places you avoid are the ones that carry the key. And if you feel called, share what you discover in the comments. There's something powerful in naming what's been unnamed. Not just for you, but for someone else reading who thinks they're the only one feeling it. You're not alone. And you're not imagining it. You're awakening. And the home you return to each day is waiting for you to meet it as the version of yourself you are now, not the one you used to be. You don't need to force change. Just notice. And trust that what's shifting in your space is aligning you with a version of wealth that goes beyond money, a wealth of energy, clarity, and authenticity that will, in time, magnetize everything else you've been quietly praying for. Sometimes, what appears to be just a coincidence is really something else, something you've been energetically calling in without realizing it. Leo, you've always been tuned into your surroundings more than you give yourself credit for. You might think you're just sensitive, or maybe even dramatic at times, but let's call it what it truly is. You're intuitive. And lately, the universe has been speaking to you not in words, but in moments. In objects falling for no reason. In dreams that repeat with startling clarity. In a knock at the door, literal or metaphorical, that brings a message you didn't expect, yet somehow already sensed. This is the part of the journey where life starts to get strange in the best kind of way. When you're aligned even slightly with your true values and desires, the law of attraction doesn't trickle, it flows. But it often doesn't arrive with a label. It shows up disguised as disruption, curiosity, or a passing thought you can't quite shake. One Leo the first once worked with told me that, after weeks of restlessness at home, a small envelope showed up in their mailbox. Inside, legal documents that led to a long-forgotten inheritance, just enough to pay off a burden that had been weighing them down for years. That didn't happen because they chased money. It happened because they were finally open to seeing the signs that had been there all along. And that's what this energy is all about. The Ace of Pentacles has made itself known in your field, which in tarot symbolizes the start of something new and valuable, often in the physical realm: wealth, health, work, or long-term security. But here's the catch: it rarely drops into your lap out of nowhere. It wants you to notice it, to feel the frequency shift, and to show that you're ready by how you respond to the nudge. So if you're seeing small, odd disruptions in your home life or schedule, and brush them off. That dropped spoon, that flickering candle, that person who randomly called you after years, all of it could be part of something greater aligning itself on your path. You don't need to fear it. But you do need to pay attention. The question isn't, is this real? The question is, am I willing to meet this energy with openness? And you don't need to do anything complicated to get into alignment. Sometimes, the most powerful rituals are the simplest ones. Light a candle in your living room and just sit with it for 10 minutes. No music. No distractions. Just you, the flame, and your willingness to feel. Or light Palo Santo or incense, not for the scent, but to invite clarity into your space. Even 5 minutes of stillness can recalibrate your frequency and prepare you to receive. Remember, Leo, your energy doesn't beg for blessings. It magnetizes them when you stand in your truth. And part of standing in your truth right now means trusting that the odd little things happening around you are not accidents. They are guideposts. If you've ever received something beautiful or meaningful as a result of following a strange hunch, I invite you to share that story in the comments. Not only will that story affirm your own journey, it may be exactly what another Leo needs to feel less alone in theirs. The truth is, abundance often arrives through subtle openings, especially when we've been too distracted to notice. But you, right now, are noticing. And that changes everything. Stay curious. Stay open. You're closer than you think. Leo, we've talked about the strange stirrings around you, the moments that feel out of place but seem to whisper that something is shifting. Now, I want you to take a breath and go even deeper. Because while those outer signs are real, they're pointing you towards something far more personal, your relationship with wealth, worth, and what it actually means to feel secure. And here's the truth many won't say out loud, especially to someone as proud and radiant as you. Wealth isn't about how shiny your world looks to others. It's about how safe and aligned you feel within it. That beautiful house? The curated bookshelf, the polished floors, the trendy lighting, it's all lovely. But does it soothe you? Does it reflect who you really are right now, not just who you used to be or who you thought you had to be to feel accepted? There's nothing wrong with beauty or success. But if you're not careful, you'll spend your entire life chasing the appearance of abundance while quietly starving for its essence. And you, Leo, were not born to starve. You were born to radiate. Social success is often loud. It claps for itself. It's the job title, the paycheck, the compliments. Inner satisfaction, on the other hand, is silent. It shows up when you sit down on your couch at the end of the day and exhale without tension in your chest. When you wake up without dread. When you walk into a room and feel your nervous system relax instead of brace. That's real wealth. Let me ask you something and really sit with this. When was the last time you looked around your space and felt proud, not of how it looked to the outside world, but of how it held you? What object in your home feels like a true reflection of your journey? And what no longer fits? These questions aren't meant to criticize. They're meant to reconnect you to what matters most. Because alignment is the gateway to abundance. You can work harder, push more, and still feel empty if the foundation beneath you isn't rooted in truth. This month, numerology highlights the energy of the number 6, a number of home, harmony, and recalibration. It's about returning to what's essential. And like the lovers in tarot, it doesn't ask you to choose what's perfect. It asks you to choose what's true. So here's a gentle practice for you. Look around and pick one item, just one that represents true wealth to you. Maybe it's a framed photo from a moment that changed your life. Maybe it's a gift from someone you love. Maybe it's a rock you picked up on a walk when you were finally honest with yourself about something. Place that object in a central area of your home, somewhere you see often. Let it remind you that value isn't something you chase. It's something you decide. And while you're at it, consider adjusting your space slightly using the energy of color. Copper gold connects you to your inner fire, your sovereignty. Earthy orange stabilizes. It grounds the ambition and helps it flow steadily. Ivory white is an invitation, a clean slate that says, I'm ready for something real, not just something impressive. You don't have to redo your home. You just have to reintroduce yourself to it, as the person you are now. This isn't about minimalism or perfection. It's about intention. It's about walking through your front door and feeling like you've come home, not just to a place, but to yourself. And from that place, the most unexpected abundance can flow. Not because you fought harder, but because you remembered what truly matters and let it rise to the center. Change doesn't always arrive like thunder. For many of you, especially those with Leo energy, who tend to look for the bold, the big, the dramatic, it can be easy to miss the real turning points when they come in quiet ways. But transformation, the kind that actually lasts, usually enters like a breeze slipping through an open window. You barely notice it at first. It moves something small, a curtain shifts, a paper flutter sand before you know it, the entire atmosphere of the room feels different. It's subtle, but it changes everything. That's what this phase of your life is like. You're not being shaken apart. You're being retuned. And if you've recently found yourself doing small things without much thought, reorganizing a drawer, scrubbing down a surface, getting rid of something that just didn't feel right, and a moriari already in it. These seemingly random acts are actually responses to an energetic shift that's already begun. Your system is clearing space before your mind even catches up. That's the beauty of intuitive living. The body knows before the logic kicks in. Sometimes the sunlight falls differently on your floor, and something inside you pauses. Sometimes you feel a strange pull to sit in a corner you usually ignore, or to leave the house without knowing why. These aren't mood swings or distractions. They're the whispers of alignment. Your external world is rearranging itself to reflect a deeper truth you're on the verge of remembering. One of the ways I guide people through this kind of transition is by helping them reconnect with the earth element, because earth grounds, calms, and makes the invisible feel real. You don't need to fly to a retreat or reinvent your life to feel anchored. You just need to engage with what's already here. Walk barefoot in the garden. Sit on the balcony and watch the wind move the trees without forcing anything to happen. Touch something cold and natural. Stone, water, wouldn't let your nervous system recalibrate. Even something as simple as square breathing, 4 counts in, hold for 4 counts out, hold again, can bring you back to yourself in a moment of emotional drift. When you center your physical body, your emotional clarity follows. That's how you know the change is not chaos. It's preparation. And here's the thing, you may feel silly trusting something that started with a flicker of light or a soft nudge in your chest. But intuition often speaks first through sensation. That slight unease you felt in a conversation. That moment of lightness walking into a room that had just been rearranged. That inexplicable urge to stop and breathe. These are not things to brush off. These are how guidance works when the universe wants you to stay gentle, stay open, and stay responsive instead of reactive. Ask yourself, when was the last time you trusted a gut feeling without needing to justify it? Are you willing to follow a path that doesn't yet have signs, just because it feels right? You don't need a plan right now. You need presence. And presence is enough. From that place, the wind of transformation doesn't have to knock you over to get your attention. It only needs to remind you that you are already changing. Let the breeze move you. Let the moment pass through you without resistance. You're not being tested. You're being reminded that stillness doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means everything is aligning, softly, perfectly, for what comes next. Leo, I know it's not easy to let go of the image you've built. You've spent years learning how to be strong, how to show up with courage, how to keep it all together even when things are falling apart behind closed doors. That strength is real. But sometimes, the same walls we build to protect ourselves become the very things that keep us stuck. And now, something in you knows it's time. Not to break down, but to rebuild. Differently. More honestly. From the inside out. You see, one of the most misunderstood things about Leo is that behind all the fire and charisma, there's a deep longing for authenticity. Not just to be seen, but to be seen accurately. You don't just want attention. You want recognition that comes from truth. And right now, the energy around you is asking one big question. Are you willing to be seen for who you are now, not just who you used to be? The space you live and the place you return to every day carries more than furniture and photos. It carries your energy, your past intentions, your emotional residue. And if you've recently felt restless, heavy, or just out of place in your own home, that's not a coincidence. It's an invitation. You've outgrown your environment energetically, and the version of you that's emerging needs a new foundation. Not a new house, necessarily, but a new intention behind the one you're already in. Rebuilding doesn't have to be grand. You don't need a full renovation to shift the energy. You just need honesty. Start by clearing out what no longer represents who you are or what you value. Let go of the things that belong to old versions of yourself, the ones that were surviving, performing, pleasing, or protecting. And as you clear, replace each empty space with something sacred. A stone. A candle. A handwritten note with a single word that captures what you're calling in: peace, freedom, abundance, joy. This is what it means to rebuild a home as an inner sanctuary. Not a showcase. Not a shelter. But a temple for the soul you are becoming. You deserve a space that reflects your truth, not your performance. And when your external world reflects your internal values, something powerful happens. The flow begins. The resistance eases. The opportunities that match your frequency start to show up, seemingly out of nowhere. And I know it takes courage to do this. Leo often wants to hold the image. But here's the truth. You don't have to give up your light to do this work. You just have to point it inward first. You're not dimming. You're focusing. You're remembering that real wealth doesn't come from what you show the world, but from what you create when no one is watching. So here's a simple ritual to help you begin. First, choose a time this week to clear one spot, say a drawer, a corner, a shelf. Second, place one object there with intention. Something that holds emotional value, spiritual meaning, or simply beauty that grounds you. Third, write down 3 core values you want this space and your life to reflect. Put those words where you can see them. Let them guide you. Let them anchor you. Because wealth isn't what you possess. It's what you feel stable enough to create. And you, Leo, were born to create boldly. Just make sure it comes from the version of you that feels safe, not just seen. From this space, your life will begin to rise again. This time, from a foundation that truly belongs to you. Leo, you were never meant to wait at the door of abundance, hoping someone else would hand you the key. You've always had that key, you just needed to remember where you placed it. And maybe, just maybe, it's been right there this whole time, hidden beneath your habits, your beliefs, or even that familiar chair you keep walking past without noticing. The strange feeling that brought you here today, that nudge in your chest or that quiet shift in your home, wasn't random. It was your soul whispering, you're ready. Ready to redefine what wealth truly means for you. Ready to let go of old versions of safety and start creating a life that feels rich from the inside out. You don't need to wait for permission to make changes that serve your inner world. It begins now, with a choice as simple as rearranging a room, clearing space for clarity, or honoring a gut instinct you've ignored for too long. Wealth isn't just about what you accumulate, it's about what you're aligned with. When you begin to live in harmony with your values, your physical space responds. Your opportunities respond. Life responds. So let me ask you something, Leo. What in this message cracks something open for you? Was there a moment, a sentence, a truth that made your breath catch or your chest soften? Have you ever experienced something strange, small or profound that happened in your home and later led to a breakthrough, a blessing, or a shift you didn't see coming? If so, I would love for you to share it in the comments. Your story might be the mirror someone else needs. Your reflection might be the light that guides another Leo home to themselves. Don't underestimate the power of what's shifting in you right now. Every act of self-awareness you take, every drawer you clear, every candle you light, every boundary you set is a declaration. You're not asking the universe to bless you. You're co-creating with it. When you act from your deepest knowing, miracles stop being fantasy. They become feedback. A natural response to your alignment. And if you felt seen in this message, if something clicked or calmed in you, I invite you to take a small action today that reflects this inner shift. Maybe it's journaling what wealth means to you now, not what it meant 5 years ago. Maybe it's choosing a symbolic object and placing it in the center of your space to remind you of what you're calling in. Maybe it's finally listening to that gentle voice inside that says, "It's time." Thank you for being here, for showing up not just for this message, but for yourself. Your presence helps grow this space of wisdom, healing, and clarity. Every like, every share, every comment brings more energy into our collective journey. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to Eternal Mindfulness so you never miss a message meant for your soul. And before you go, send this video to a fellow Leo or to someone who might be quietly wrestling with their own version of transformation. We are all walking each other home in one way or another. I wish you the courage to open the strange door that may appear in your life this week and the grace to receive the treasure that waits on the other side. Because it's not just about the house you live in. It's about the space you choose to honor within. And that, Leo, is where the real wealth begins.